Hello and welcome to Ista in Switzerland. We have live coverage of the 2025 Orienteering World Cup. We've got a trio of sprint races to round off this season, a sprint relay and a knockout sprint still to come this weekend. But today it is the turn of the classic individual sprint. We will focus on the men's race first before turning to the women's, and in both there are lots of points on offer for the World Cup. In fact, we've had a lot of athletes already going through these courses this afternoon. The men's race and the women's race finishing here in this arena with this small labyrinth to end the course. They'll descend into this arena that we're using for the whole of the weekend. Fairly cold conditions, definitely autumnal conditions here in Switzerland, but it's pretty decent, to be honest, for sprint orienteering. And the athletes will be taking this in their stride. We've got some aerial shots of the town that the athletes are going to be running through, the different buildings that they will be navigating. It's a fairly simple town, and the organisers have put in some barriers to try and make the orienteering and the route choices a little bit more interesting, but it is a fast course. It's going to be very, very tight, I think, between the runners today, as we've switched our focus in the orienteering season to the sprint races. All the athletes have been sitting in quarantine, those last starters, for a good few hours as they get prepared and ready. This is so they cannot see anything in the other courses, anything of what is going on. They have no idea of the map until they get in there, and it can be quite an intense environment of all of the athletes there, seeing all the other teams, trying to do their own individual warm-up, their own mental preparations. There is the world champion, Martin Regborn, and a lot of the top, pretty much all the top male athletes here to try and win points for these World Cup and try and round off their season as well. And a lot of, so they're not allowed phones in there, they're not allowed any contact with the outside world, so they will be trying to you know, just switch off and do their own thing at that particular point. Then they will head towards the start line and begin their sprint. So you can see for the men today, 4.1 kilometers, and the estimated winning time, 14 minutes. That's already got down to 14 minutes and 10 seconds with Oscar Spetzdorfer being our current leader in the finish. I expect it to get quicker than that. It is a very, very fast course out there today, and this is the very, very final few meters of it. So they make their way towards the line in front of a lot of the athletes. This is the course though, Jonas. Do you want to talk us through it from where they start?
And I mean, the start is rather easy, and many of the left-right decisions quite intense. Few short controls in order to not let them prepare for control 4, which is a route choice, and control 5, that is a route choice. Around this control 5, this is a hospital area. We're going to have running cams from 5 to 8, which is the TV control in the picture here. Generally, many left-right decisions, many controls where we have 2 options, maybe 3. Distance-wise, most often 2 options quite similar, and then the third one a bit, one that you can lose a bit of time on. Example for that is 10 to 11. From 12 to 13, it's a transportation leg, also 13, 14, then it's a bit more this intense short controls. We're gonna have running cam from 14 to 16 to the TV control that we can see in the picture here again. As I mentioned before, if you compare it to the European champs, for example, a few weeks ago, it's not the same kind of route choice based sprint competition. It's very, very similar in the characteristics to the one that we had 1 year ago in Olten in Switzerland. So maybe the runners that did well there have a chance to do it again. So we go back to the finish. There is a short maze. Well, it's nothing you're gonna lose time on because it's rather straightforward to it, and then to the finish. As I said, many controls. You have almost on every leg the possibility to either go to the left or to the right, but in my opinion it's not as route choice based, the characteristics of the course as it was at the European Championships. This is a good example for one of the longer legs where you actually have a route choice to take. You can go out to the west after the control, this red dotted line to control 4. This is 371 meters, or you go to the east, and you can see it's not, either of them is not very hard to find on the map. It's just to take a quick decision and then to execute it, and you can see them in the difference is 7 meters. If you hesitate 2 or 3 seconds, you're going to lose more time by hesitating than you're actually going to lose on the leg. And then you have this in-between leg as well. Of course, distance-wise, that's not a very, very big difference either, but 30 meter, that's actually, then we're talking about some kind of distance, so you shouldn't take this one. If you take the left or right one, doesn't really matter. Similar approach to control 11. Also here we have these different options. This is the slightly longer option here shown on the screen. There is one where you go more to the south just after control 10. We're going to see that later on as well. And then there's the middle option as well, very, very similar to control 4 to 5.
Yes, that red option, you can pick up a lot of speed going straight down the streets, but it is not, it's just further. You're going to be running, taking a longer time to do that.
And I mean, on this one, you don't have so many turns, either if you take the red one, neither if you take the purple one to the south. If you take the middle one, it's, well, distance-wise very similar to the purple one, but maybe a bit more turns, so the 2 meters you're going to lose doing this.
Okay, so we will take a look at the start at the top of the hill. They're going to run down and begin their orienteering. This is Max Petterbema. He is the World Cup leader, and he has done a fantastic job with particularly some of the forest races in Idre. He did fantastically well, and that means he is in contention to win the World Cup. Let's have a look at the start list though here. This is by sprint world ranking, so the top ranked sprinters starting at the very end. Who can we look out for?
I mean, very interesting, as we just seen, Max Petterbema, he started before the broadcast started actually, so he's on the course right now. Just after him started Matthias Kibbutz in his very, very last sprint competition of his career, so that's of course going to be interesting to follow. Erik Langedal Breivik, quite an early starter, bronze medalist at the European Championships, and then when we get towards the end, we have Matthias Bachosvaye from France, the European champion. A bit of a surprise there, but I mean, he did very well, proved that he has good physical shape as well, so he can do good in this kind of race as well. And then the 5 last starters, for me, the big favorites for today.
Yeah, this is Oscar Svetstorhov. He is the current leader, the Norwegian, 14 minutes and 10 seconds, with a 9-second lead at the moment. Quentin Moulet from France in second place currently. But we will expect his time to come down. Oh, ouch, some sort of fall at some point in the course there. But I imagine he's just going to be feeling quite pleased at the moment to be sat on that leader's chair. And he's still got a good time. If we look back at the split controls, we've got 2 TV controls out on the course. It's looking super good. But of course, a lot of the focus this whole weekend will be on the Swiss home legend of orienteering, Matthias Kibbutz, who runs his final World Cup. He will retire after this competition. He will focus on that marathon running. He's represented Switzerland at that level. Here he is on the GPS tracking early doors. But there will be a lot of questions, though, for Matthias in terms of, he's not done a lot of sprinting. He's not done much orienteering recently. He's putting so much focus in the marathon. It'll be so interesting to see how he goes today.
I mean, he told us himself that he has been doing like 2 sprint trainings since the World Championships last year. If that's true or not, I mean, we don't know. But it's not he didn't do many of the sprint trainings. If you compare that to other runners like Yannick Michels, Jonathan Gustafsson, they focused on sprint all the way from the World Championships to this one. On the other hand, it's not the most technical sprints, so maybe these routines are not as important. It's going to be very interesting to see how his marathon focus physically is affecting his sprint capabilities. I mean, maybe the classic sprint here today, it's not a big problem. I'm more interested than in the knockout sprint, which is a bit more stop and go. We have to be a bit more explosive in his muscles. So
but he has been so good over knockout sprint in the last few years. So that was control 5. He just punched there. He's on his way to the 6th one around the other side of this building, and then a few short controls to go before we pick up the split time at control number 8. So 6 done, no problems there. Over to the 7th control now, and he has to be careful about these flower beds, these out-of-bounds sections in this hospital area at the moment.
And it's going to be very tight between Zoltan Contamule and Matthias Kibbutz.
Yep, so on his way to the 8th control, here it is, and he goes into the lead there. So really good section, even just from the pre-warning to this point here. Very good.
And I mean, you mentioned it in the beginning of the broadcast. We hadn't expected winning time of 14 minutes. The runners in the finish already have 14:10, so it's going to be a quick race. I don't expect it to be big gaps in the end between the runners. So even if the gap might not be that big with 3 seconds, it's still good to be up there and within like the group of the quickest runners so far.
This is Axel Granqvist from Sweden, the Swedish sprint champion, on his way to TV control number 2. So he is looking for the 16th control. He's on his way to that now. Is passing by the right of the building. He's got to go down a few steps, and that is where he will get the punch. So it's still Storhoff of Norway who is in the lead at that point. This is the control. Granqvist running well, though, goes equal third, 6 seconds down. And we've already mentioned this course is quite like the last time the World Cup came to Switzerland when it was in Olten. It's a similar kind of style of orienteering, a similar concept in the planning, very, very fast, not super technical, and there we saw really close times. We didn't see big gaps at all.
If you look at the map, you can see it's a same kind of city for quite a long time. If you remember the course there, we had, of course, the final part in the old town, but the bigger part, the beginning, was a bit of outside, and this is very similar to this part. So it's a lot of running, a lot of executing, and it's hard to make courses where you have to kind of run in S shapes or where you have to back out from controls or something like that, because well, it's not an old town, so it's hard to, even if you put in artificial fences to have courses where you have very confusing kind of routes where it's hard to see where to go.
Yeah, here you can look on the map, and it only takes these top runners a couple of seconds to spot all the route choices and then to make their decision about which one's the best.
Yeah, and you've got a lot of time to prepare also the coming routes. When you have a bit of time executing, then you can prepare the next one. Then you come to control 12, where you have a kind of a dead leg to 13. You can prepare like 2 or maybe 3 controls ahead. Of course, you have to be very careful in order not to kind of miss anything. But well, it gives you time, and sprint is very, very difficult if you lack time.
Yeah, and when you have areas, I guess, a bit like this, where we just saw Kibbutz there, you have a little bit more open sections. You can look ahead and see where you're going to. That buys you a few seconds to kind of like look elsewhere. Mathieu Perrin on his way then to the finish, the Frenchman looking for a top 3 at the moment. On his way in here, he's got to navigate this small maze. There's not really any differences in the maze. It isn't too difficult at all, but it gives some excitement and a little bit of maybe some nerves at the end for the runners. Gives some excitement for all our spectators who've turned up here on the Friday. But Mathieu Perrin on his way into the finish, and he goes equal second, so equal with his teammates Canton Moulet. The French team both in second place at the moment, and as we've mentioned already in kind of over this season, one of the stories of this season is the French team breaking new ground. I think their first ever female European champion in Cécile Calandry in Belgium, and obviously Mathieu Baravaille taking the win as well. Here's Kibbutz then. And and we're picking him up quite early before the 16th control, which is where we get the time. He's on his way to the 15th now, and looking to be going very well at the moment. He's just trying to cut every single corner that he can, and that's really good to spot that passageway on the grass there, because there's the 15th control. He's got to be careful there because he can't go through that hedge, and just has to watch out here.
I mean, it's quite intense here in this part, even though, I mean, the route is not very hard to see, but of course you have to be very careful in not missing any passage in a fence or whatever. So you have to be accurate in your orienteering.
And when these passages are so, you know, there's some detail and the times are going to be so close, you have to take the shortest line to everything. Well, he goes into the lead, 18 seconds ahead of Zoltán Budoso. So Matthias Kibert in the lead at the moment.
And there's quite a big gap then from Budoso to Oskar Spets-Storhoff as well. So it's another 10 seconds. So that's a good race so far for Matthias Kibert. You can see here, did not take the final punch. That's the reason why they often have the Sportident unit to their ear, because you can hear a sound then.
Yes, so well, at least he spotted it. Axel Grunqvist went into 5th place there. There you can see, and at TV1, TV2, just 5-6 seconds back. Losing, obviously, seconds in the punch there. You'll see a lot of the athletes bringing their sport ident up to their ears so they can hear what is going on and just check that they've made that punch. Not the case here. This looks like Zoltán Budoso from Hungary into the finish. Very, very, absolutely down there on that corner. Must be a little bit damp, and that is painful there, but is it going to be enough for the lead here? It looks just about good enough for Zoltán Budoso. He does 1 second into the lead, so a good recovery from that fall. Goodness me.
Also the first one falling. We've seen Oskar Spets-Storhoff as well.
Ooh, ouch, ouch,
maybe
ouch.
at the same time, it's a very sharp curve you have to take there.
Painful, I think, for Zoltán Budoso, but he is rewarded with a new leading time.
But we also know that Kibert started 1.5 minutes behind Zoltán Budoso, so he should be somewhere close to the finish very soon as well.
Yeah, we're looking at his GPS tracking. He is on his way. Yes, Zoltán Budoso, I don't think it's going to have very, very long in the leader's chair. So we have Max Petter-Bejmert come in before.
Actually, yeah, he started 3 minutes ahead.
Yes. So I think we're looking out for Max Petter-Bejmert, the leader of the World Cup at the moment.
Because I think on our GPS they had the wrong device on Zoltán Budoso, and we had that's why I was confused. Here we have Max Petter-Bejmert, the overall World Cup leader, to the finish.
You can see he's really looking up, looking ahead, looking for this bend here. He's got that absolutely very well planned here, and no problems there on that curve. So Max Petter-Bejmert from Sweden fighting for World Cup points here. He is the current World Cup leader. Where will he end in this sprint race? 3rd place at the moment. It's just 6 seconds behind Zoltán Budoso. And actually, he didn't have the best of starts at all. So he's caught up time in this latter sections.
That's kind of a thing this season for Max Petter-Bejmert. Even in the races in Idre, where he performed very well, he struggled in the beginning and then came back after this. But let's take Matthias Kibert to the finish.
Yeah, expect it to get noisy at the arena because they can see Matthias Kibert here on his last ever individual sprint race. Just checking the last few controls here, and he's going to come in here with a big, big lead at the finish. Where will Matthias Kibert end up on his last ever individual sprint race? He's going to cross the line. It's going to be a lead indeed. 13:36.
24 seconds quicker than the course planner predicted the winning time. I mean, we could see that we obviously are going to go below 14, but it's almost half a minute. It was a good start. We couldn't see any mistakes. So let's see how far this takes him.
Well, I think he could be on the leader's chair for quite a while with that time. Maybe only our last kind of 5-10 runners would be looking to challenge that. But for a man who's not really done very much orienteering, let alone sprint orienteering for a while, he's been focusing on the marathon. I think, in fact, he's got a marathon race in about a month's time.
In 5 weeks, he's going to attempt the New York City Marathon.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's in his final preparation. He's actually said it's kind of a good in-between thing because he had a very, very tough training week last week, and the next one is going to be very tough as well. So he took this one to recover. Yeah.
Only Matthias Kiberts could think that running a World Cup would be time off to recover.
I think
it's very different to his marathon
quite
training.
many marathon runners would take an orienteering sprint as kind of not a long training.
No. Well, from one Swiss to another, the future of Swiss orienteering, possibly Fabian Abersold, ready to start his race now. Getting his map in, the first chance to look at it heading out towards the start, guys.
Has a 23rd position from the European Championship. His best result in a sprint in the World Cup is 16th. Maybe I think he has more potential in sprint than his 16th position. It seems that he often struggled a little bit. You can see here that's actually a bit interesting because these stairs, they put the course planner on the top of that hill because these stairs makes it very hard to plan and read ahead. So when they start, they think that they have time to read the map towards the first control, but actually it's very hard to read the map there.
Yes, we've already seen some fallers on the course already. Another potential area for trickiness there too. And lots of spectators here. There's been 500 school children taking part in some sort of orienteering activities today, and they've been basically then able to come and see these elites compete here. I think this is Adrien Delaine going down on the spiral on his way from 19 to 20, so approaching the arena now. Having to do a little bit of orienteering underneath the roundabout.
And at the second TV control, he was 19 seconds behind Matthias Kiberts. That will be a bit more probably. You can see the 19 seconds there in the lower right corner.
Yeah, I think he will lose a little bit of time there, but he's on his way to the 20th control now. Then we'll go into the labyrinth here. As you see, he is already behind Adrien Delaine, another French athlete going to be performing well, though, at this World Cup final.
But I think he's going to be in between Kiberts and Boidoso. Has another 15 seconds to go to the finish at the last control right here.
So punches the last control, just has to fight his way now, takes one extra check of the map. Will he go into second place? It's going to be close to the Hungarian, actually. Equal second at the moment. Zoltan Bidoso, who had that fall on the corner just before the last control, and Adrien Delaine from France. It was very intriguing how Delaine was still looking at his map, like after punching the last control, I think just checking that he has got them all. There wasn't any extra surprises that he hadn't factored in at the end.
And very interesting actually that Delaine and Boidoso, they lost 18 or 19 seconds to the second TV control after 2.9 kilometers, and then on the last 900 or 1 kilometer they lost another 15 seconds. So Kiberts had a very good finish there.
Yeah, he really did. And you know, orienteers, when we have a chat to them after the race, they kind of have no idea where they're going to end up, and they've just got to be satisfied with a good run. So to another French athlete, Le Capin, beginning his race. As you said, setting off down towards that start triangle, which you can see there, and then taking these steps. Lots of the athletes with different kind of steps technique.
Yeah, and you can see Isaac von Krusenstjerna now to the first TV control. He's a bit behind Kiberts and Boidoso, but not far.
Yeah, former world sprint champion. That was back from those kind of COVID world champs in Czechia.
Had a quite good run ongoing at the European Championship, but then jumped over a control in the middle section. And then, of course, disqualified due to that. You can see the comparison between Kibbutz and Abersol. Maybe a bit better executed there by Abersol. I think he was about 2 seconds quicker going to the left.
But it looks like Kibbutz just a little bit quicker, though, on all of these controls, despite that slightly further route. Here's Abersol, though, here. That is control number 5. And it'd be so good to see his flow here. In fact, Kibbutz took seconds away from the others in this section. He was so smooth through this very intense section of orienteering. 3 controls really, really close together. You have to be completely on top of where you are. This is the 6th one. And it's looking good for Abersol here. He's going to take a different route to Kibbutz down these steps. On the way to the 7th control next. You can see it just there by these allotments, by these gardens.
You can also see that he is going to be a few seconds behind both Zoltan Byrdoso and Matthias Kibbutz. Even dropped behind von Krusenstjerna, but well, all of them very, very tight together at this first TV control.
But as you mentioned, it was between TV control 1 and 2 that Kibbutz got his gap, and then another gap of the same amount between TV 2 and the end. There he is, already analysing his routes, trying to figure out did he get the right route choice or not. Maybe going, maybe not quite that one. Reading into some of the body language there, maybe we're going a little bit too far there. Let's have a look at some of his routes, though.
I don't think he's gonna find any very obvious mistakes here. You can see the same route choice executed by Dulen and Kibbutz. And as I said, interesting that from TV control 2, which is control 16, to the finish, this is control 16 in the picture, which was very, very good.
This is Jakub Glonek, I think.
Yeah, and the Glonek, he was 4th at the European Championships. So this is going to be, well, it's going to be an interesting name to maybe see what Matthias Kibbutz's time is worth.
So Guillaume Verove on his way to TV control number 2. He will cut into the 15th control there, taking a different route choice to Kibbutz. And as you can see, already slower than the time of the Swiss athletes. We'll get his time at the next control. Doing a lot of map reading there. You can see his arms coming up, head just looking down at that map. You still do need to take a lot of map contact. Of course, always these sprint races, sometimes if they look easy on the map itself, try running it at, you know, what kind of minutes per K they're going to do, 3.5 minutes per K. But Verove into 4th place. And that means 3 Frenchmen in the top 6 at that point in the course.
Next very interesting name to this second TV control is going to be Isaac von Krusenstjerna. We can see it in the graphic here, the GPS comparison. It's just a few seconds behind Kibbutz. Actually, it was about 4 seconds at control 13.
He's taken the same routes as well.
And as we know, the TV control, then at control 16. There's a different option between 15 and 16. You could go to the right as well. And we are following Isaac von Krusenstjerna.
Yeah, and he's gone to the right there. He's taken the easterly most route choice.
So now let's see. So at the pre-morning, the gap was 4 seconds. Now in different route choices to control 16.
Taking a sideways step down there, and the gap is 5 seconds now.
I mean, that's a disadvantage if you come from this direction. You have actually to drop down on the stairs to the control, which slows you a little bit down, but you can see the difference was 1 second.
Something to aspire in this, and also, we talked quite some time ago, and I think you said that you never really.
Oh, what a nice chat there for Jonas. Like, just giving Matthias Kibberts a bit of love, I think, and a bit of appreciation. This man has been an idol for a lot of these younger orienters.
I don't know if you could hear it on screen, but he was talking about how kind of an inspiration Kibberts was for him. So that's very. And talking about inspiration and idol for many of the athletes, he has been an inspiration for. How many years? Many years. Must be like, more than 20 years.
Yeah, about 20 years, because he raced, I think one of his first World Cups was one in the UK, Daniel Hubman's. It was 2005, and I remember being there as a child, not having no idea who any of these orienteers were.
Must have been before 2005, because he was running the World Championships 2004 in Sweden. I think that those were the first championships he was running.
So, more than 20 years at the top.
3 gold medals in sprint, 9 medals at World Championships in sprint only. Those are numbers to talk about.
They really are. Abersold then, Fabian Abersold, the next one through here. You can see
same route
behind a little bit.
We had before, executed by Isak von Krusenstjerna. Now dropping down the stairs to the control.
And making the turn there, you can see no hesitation. He knew exactly which way he was going to go. And I don't think we'll see many athletes stop really at any point of the course, because they should be well prepared. Let's take a look at the routes then.
Yeah, we have Francesco Mariani, Isak von Krusenstjerna and Matthias Kibberts. You can see different routes. Actually, the one executed the beginning of Mariani's route was good. He should have continued and turned south of the building all the way around. That would have been probably the best option, the shortest one at least.
Yeah, so we can follow Mariani then here as he heads towards the 8th control, where we'll get the time check.
Yeah, but
he's just not quite figured out, or not quite prepared for where he was going to go there.
Yeah, but I think he lost time doing this back and forth. Maybe not very much, but I mean, in this kind of sprint, if you lose about 5 to 7 seconds, that will matter in the end.
Yeah, it really will matter. 8 seconds down at the moment, the Italian runner Mariani, who was 5th at the World Championships last summer, so has got some good sprint pedigree. And we're getting, in and amongst some of the guys here who've had those podium spots, those top 6 spots at European and World Champs level. Here's Isak von Krusenstjerna underneath the roundabout here. He's going to be heading then back up, so only a couple of more controls to go.
But also he continued to lose a little bit of time compared to Kibberts at the pre-morning. He was 11 seconds behind. I don't think he's going to be able to turn this one around. But there's a lot of space between Kibberts and Puidoso, between the first and the second position.
So going through the building here takes a slightly different route. He's got to get to this last control, and the time ticking away then here for the former world champion, the Swede, Isak von Krusenstjerna. There is a big void between first and second place at the moment between Kibberts and Puidoso. Will he get in there too? Takes this route with lots of corners, and then got to be careful around that corner as well. And for the Swede, it looks good enough for second place at the moment, coming all the way towards the line. Will end in a second place at the moment. 19 seconds behind Matthias Kibberts. And straight into second place chair there. I don't know if you heard that. You've still got it, is what Isak von Krusenstjerna said.
Mistake here from Fabian Abersold, just overshooting the control by a few steps. Often this kind of things happen if you read ahead. You start to focus on tasks that are coming. You're not 100% focused, because he knew that he just had to turn his head to the right in order to see the control. Then overshot it by 2-3 meters, maybe 2-3 seconds in the end.
So this road here is out of bounds. That's why they have to go underneath this roundabout. And that's such a danger of this type of course, because you can read ahead. It's all about having that balance of being in the moment and planning ahead. And that balance is going to be different at different parts of the course.
And it's always a risk if you start reading ahead before you can actually spot the flag. Of course, in a sprint, you have to do it, you're forced to do it, but you have to be aware of the fact that you have to switch back and be careful in order to not overshoot.
So tricky. Abersold then here, already slower than that time of Kiberts, and he will come into the second to last control here, just a few meters to go. Lots and lots of support here for all of these Swiss athletes as they make their way into this arena. Good number of spectators here, different routes through the labyrinth, and only a few more meters to go now for Fabian Abersold of Switzerland. All the way then to the line, pushing here, looking up at the screen. Going into 6th place then in the end. You can see those time losses gradually throughout there, and just ahead of Bähmer, pushes Bähmer down into 7th.
For Bähmer, every position is very important because he's in the fight for the overall World Cup.
What we also have to mention in terms of places, this is a qualification as we see this mistake here. I almost wonder if someone shouted at him. Do you think I think he was going to miss that. Ooh. I wonder if, yes, yes. I wonder if he was about to just completely overshoot that control.
Well, but from the direction he came, he must have been aware of the fact that there is a control at that point. It's not the same situation as we had at the European Champs when they missed the second to last control or the last control, because here he would not have turned there if he would not have been aware of the fact that there is a control coming.
So Akseli Ruohola, 3rd place, bronze medalist in the knockout sprint at those European Championships. Really good run for him here. He's going to be trying to get into, although he's not quick at this end, he's really taking a look at the map. He was 24 seconds down at TV control number 2, pre-warned in the top 10. And on the way to the line here, there's some guys very, very close together at this point. And Akseli Ruohola, the Finn, into the top 10, into 8th.
And actually, if I look at the start list here, I can also tell you that we have Matthias Barros-Weyer, the European champion on the course now. He started about 2 minutes ago, a bit more. So this is going to be, well, from here, I think almost all of the names, they are a big threat for Matthias Gewurz and the lead, or they can be a big threat. So here we have a comparison. Timo Suter in the picture as well. He did a different route compared to the top names in the finish. And you can see losing a lot of time. I mean, it's such a tight race. And you can see that he dropped about 10-15 seconds behind. Here we have him in the picture.
Yeah, it's going to be so hard to try and make your way back if you're after a podium spot after this race. Still end up with maybe a top 10, top 20 if everything else goes to plan. See him just looking left there. Here's the next controller, the 7th. But you saw just the amount of ground he lost with that different route choice. And then, as you can see here at this early point, so many athletes on equal spaces that you can be only a few seconds down. So in fact, he was 16 seconds down and into 20th place. Oh, so that was at the, oh no, it hasn't come up on our system yet, actually. He was in 20th place at the pre-warning for TV control number 1. Looking for Lerkapper next at the finish. Frenchman next to make it all the way into here. We have the women's race going on at the same time, but back at the start, here's Joey Hadorn. What can Joey Hadorn do today?
Yes, a 2nd place as his best in the sprint race, 2019, also in Switzerland, in Basel. Or in the surrounding of Basel. And very soon we're going to have Matthias Barros-Weyer to the first TV control. It's actually on the way to control 6-7.
We Meanwhile, Joey Haddon looking very controlled down those steps.
He's good at this kind of things, running downhill. Here we have the Frenchman.
Yeah, into 7th place, just 6 seconds down at TV control number 1. What a spectacular result for him in Belgium, taking his first ever title. He was saying he's actually a bit quicker, a bit better
Look
form.
at that start by Tino Polsini as well. Silver medalist from the World Championships last year. It's kind of, I mean, he was a bit away from the scene when we had the forest orienteering. Now definitely back when it comes to sprint again.
So see how this then plays out for Polsini as we get his time check at the control number 8. But as you mentioned already, silver medalist from the World Champs in Edinburgh last summer in that Central City course.
And this is a good start for Polsini.
He looks super smooth and so well prepared through this section as well. He's barely reading his map and just looks, a few people
Short
have done that.
hesitation, but no problem. I mean, the time was there. It's maybe half a second.
And actually, a lot of people have had more of a hesitation.
I mean, it's very understandable, because the thing you do is like you go down here and then to the left in your head, and you come down and you look to the left, and it's possible to go there.
So 4 seconds quicker than Kiberts, who is still our leader at the finish. Great start.
Really. So here we have the different routes executed to 14. You can see that the difference between the runners at this point actually quite big. Kiberts going to the left to control 16. I mentioned that before. He doesn't have to drop down on the steps to control 16. Otherwise, I don't think there's so much difference. He doesn't have to stop at the control and turn back in order to climb up the steps again. The only one of those top runners doing this. This is Teemu Oksanen.
Yeah, into this 16th control. You can just see how well he was reading his map there, but 33 seconds down for the Finn. Ricardo Rankan next to start. Local athlete.
Yeah, and he struggled with the injury at the European Championships. You might remember it when he was at the knockout sprint. He just gave up in one of the heats due to a muscle injury. Now back again.
But this is his hometown, right?
Yeah, he's training at least with the athletics club here, as I understand it.
So he's had to stay out of a lot of this area for the last few years whilst it's under the embargo. But he is the man on this starting field that knows this town the best. So will that home advantage come into effect here? Will he have basically passed all that home advantage off to the rest of his team and had some sort of insider information on that one too? Looks like Alvaro Casado into the finish here. He's been a knockout finalist before at world level. Going to be outside the top 20 here.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. It's also a qualification for the knockout sprint, so it's really important to fight for those seconds here. The best 36 are going to make it to the knockout sprint on Sunday.
Yeah, just thinking how many runners we've still got left. But let's take Haddon through to TV control number 1. And you could just compare his technique here with that of Polsini. You can see that Polsini just had a picture in his mind of what everything would be up to there. He could continue through all of those corners in quite a high speed.
It's quite an okay start anyway for Haddon. He's not going to be quicker than Polsini, I don't think so. But not that far behind. Yeah, he's in this group here within 5 seconds. A very good start for Joey Haddon.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely still in contention here. Let's have a look at some of these routes. Pay attention to Mattia Baravaia, the new European champion.
A different route between 14-15. Then going on the Van Clusen-Quena option there. At the first TV control, the gap was 5 seconds. So I think it's more now. Yeah, definitely more. It's more than 10 seconds.
Yeah, and he's not quite got that same pace as we saw at the European Championships, but still in third place at the moment, 14 seconds behind Matthias Kiburtz, our current leader.
But it starts to look really, really good for Matthias Kiburtz.
What a fairy tale that would be. Daniel Hubman has just finished there in 19th place at the moment, congratulating his teammates. Taking a pause at the finish there. So Hubman into the finish. Was it 9 world medals, world champs medals in sprint discipline?
Yeah, it is.
And ultimately 1 whole minute behind Matthias Kiburtz, who's absolutely smashed the expected winning time. We expected that winning time being 14 minutes. This is 13:36, and here we have a comparison. Here we have a contender.
Hosini dropped behind Kiburtz and Isaac van Krusenstjerna. Remember that he was in the lead at the first TV control. Now we are behind. Hosini here on the way to the second one, so he must be on the same route as Kiburtz was.
Yeah, he is. He's going to approach the control from the bottom. He doesn't have to drop down those stairs. I think that one is quicker to contend with a few members of the public, but as you can see there, he's not going to be faster than Kiburtz. So after that fantastic start where he was 4 seconds ahead of his teammate, now into third position here, 11 seconds down.
Out from the control as well, compared to many of the others, but that means it's still quite a good race. He's in third position, he's 11 seconds behind. At the finish we have a gap of 19 seconds between Matthias Kiburtz and Isaac van Krusenstjerna, so there's definitely a chance to be somewhere there.
Almost doing a bit of indicating there for the car and cutting through these smaller alleyways.
Not very often that you have to sign as a runner where you're heading to.
Rankan then here, very, very distinctive, often wears that cap backwards, the white cap.
The look to the left there as well before the control. He's not going to be in the lead, but he's not far away either. He's going to be about, say, 6-7 seconds behind.
Yeah, so Rankan here going to punch this control into 7 seconds, 7th and 7 seconds down. And the local runner, a decent start then here. Let's check some of these routes and look at Krivda. What a start from the Czech athlete. This is very fast.
Yeah, and you can see, so the better option there between 4 and 5 as well compared to Matthias Kiburtz. Gives him another 2 to 3 seconds of an advantage. But we had many of the runners in contention at control 8 and then losing time between the first and the second TV control. But this is a great start for Thomas Krivda. Has a third position from a World Cup race last year in Genoa.
Yeah, this is a very, very competent start here. Gone out with clearly a much higher top speed than the others, looking very good flow through all of these sections, taking a chance to read the map here as he goes through the hospital grounds. Also a very good picture as to what to expect on going down those steps.
And he's still going to be in the lead here.
Absolutely.
Not that far, but there will be about 5 seconds maybe.
To be honest, 6 seconds at this point, that's actually quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a difference to the runner. I mean, we have seen so many runners within 5 or 6 seconds before, and now we have another runner 6 seconds quicker. So very, very good start for
He's also 10 seconds quicker than Kiburtz, but let's take Mathieu Baravaye into the finish. Is he going to be in a medal position at the moment? The new European champion from France. He's looking up to the screen. It's not going to be enough for the top 3 today. He's going to drop out of the top 5 into 6th place then in the end for the Frenchman. So 6th place at the moment for the European champion, and I think with seeing so many great, possibly surprise performances in Belgium only a few weeks ago, one of the stories of these this World Cup will be, can we see people backing up those kind of performances? Highlight on Tino Pulsini then, who's going to be the next one we see through at the finish. Here he is, going through the building here. just on his way to the last control. And as you can see at TV2, 11 seconds down on the lead of Kiburtz. Will he have made up any ground? He'll be fighting with von Krusenfraner. Ooh, not quite got the maze sussed out there, and round the corner. Looks like he will be quick enough to go into second place and put Switzerland 1 and 2 on the results at the moment. Goes second, 16 seconds, 15 seconds down.
5 seconds behind Isaac von Krusenfraner at the pre-warning. Now he is 4 seconds ahead of, so a great finish.
Yeah, well, that to me says watch out for him on the knockout sprint.
Definitely, and I think we're soon going to switch to Yannick Michels, who's going to come to the first TV control. Just a second, or might have been there already, actually.
Congratulations between the two Swiss athletes at the top of the results. Let's just double check. We're live with Thomas Krivda then. Krivda and Kiburtz and Polsini highlighted there, and news is Krivda still running quicker than Kiburtz.
Actually, we didn't see Yannick Michels. He's 5 seconds behind Thomas Krivda, so he's ahead of Polsini, he's ahead of Weiduso, and ahead of Kiburtz into second position.
And the Belgian, you know, targeting those European champs. Here's the last starter then. This is Martin Regborn, the world sprint champion.
And he is also still kind of in the fight for the overall World Cup. Yeah, I mean, given the fact that he is world champion in sprint, and Max Peter, I mean, he's stronger in sprint than compared to Max Peter Beimer, of course. And so, yeah, has a chance to, yeah, get better from he's in third position right now, can climb 1 or 2 positions still.
So live still, and live with Krivda there. And at this point, just trying to figure out what's going on with the GPS tracking there. I think it's just had a bit of a glitch. It's hard exactly to see the differences, but what is clear, Krivda still ahead. We get the next time check at 16.
Still quite a big lead here. This is still about, I would say, 5 to 7 seconds. So tell you that we had Thomas Heikila at the first TV control, but he didn't start well. 24 seconds behind into 24th position.
Yeah, I thought this course would suit him quite well, but maybe the latter stages will suit him better than the early stages, because he had such good results at some of the test races for the European Championships, and definitely underperformed at those European Champs from what we know he can do when he is at his best. Here's Joey Hadorn. He's on his way to the finish. 2 more controls to go. But Joey Hadorn outside the top 10 at the moment. We'll focus therefore on Krivda, who's taking the right route choice, the easterly route choice to the next control, the 16th control. That's where we get the time check, and look at that, TV1, 10 seconds ahead of Kiburtz. What will it be now?
And I mean, this right route choice has been a bit slower so far, but the gap still 9 seconds. I think it was a bit bigger actually before.
So Joey Hadorn crosses the line into 10th place. See 40 seconds down. Tim Robertson, the New Zealander, 41 seconds down.
Let's see here. Usually replay is not a good thing for the runners. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, but that
Just
didn't cost any time.
No, I don't think so. He did well to stay upright there. That's the kind of skill that orienteers hone, actually, is like nearly falling over, but not quite. No problems there. Into 10th place for Joey Hadorn. In fact, that is 4 Swiss in the top 10.
So now we are waiting for Kasper Foster to the first TV control. We are very soon waiting for Yannick Michels to the second TV control as well. And we have Jonathan Gustafsson. We had him actually at the first TV control into 6th position, 11 seconds behind. Here we have Yannick Michels.
Yeah, this is Michels at control 15. He was 1 second second off a medal at those home European champs in that individual sprint. And this really is the discipline he's been focusing on for the last couple of years. We thought this would be a course that would suit him quite well, actually. Quite familiar style of orienteering for him. He's so experienced. Medals at World Cup, European World Champs level, but no win.
He's quite far behind Krifta, but he's very, very close to Kiburts. Only 2 seconds behind, so this is going to be interesting to follow all the way to the finish.
Absolutely, just about matching the time there. This is we're live with Ricardo Rancan. That's who we're focusing on now.
We also had Kasper Foster to the first TV control, 13 seconds behind into 10th position. So it's not that far behind Kiburts.
And Ricardo Rancan up the steps now, just a few more controls to go, pre-warned in the top 10.
Yeah, but my feeling is that he lost a bit more time. I mean, he was 18 seconds behind. Now time already running out. I think it's about half a minute from here.
So Rancan into the finish arena. Lots of cheers at the finish for him. Looks ahead. We'll have lots of home support. Not just running in his home country, but pretty much running in his hometown as well. And Rancan looking, he's going to be outside of the medals, looking for a podium spot. It's super cramped up there in the top 10. And ultimately crossing the line there into 8th place.
And also at the first TV control, we have the Panscher Martin Rekborn, 25th position, 23 seconds behind. So not a good start for the world champion.
So if we look at who's going to challenge then, I think it is pretty much this man and Yannick Michels who will challenge. I think this could be a win here for Thomas Krifta from Czechia. We do have Michels still on the course, but with the other athletes losing time early on, it should be good enough for Thomas Krifta to take his first ever World Cup win.
Bronze medalist from the World Championships. It's gonna be, it's very, very tight. It was a good end, good finish for Kiburts, but just into this first position ahead of Matthias Kiburts.
And Krifta there, 4 seconds ahead of Kiburts. I think that may well be good enough for the win for the Czech athlete today. Matthias Kiburts waves goodbye. And we've only got now 5 more athletes out on the course. We know Michels is running well. Heikkilä, Gustafsson, Fosse, Rekborn all losing time by the first TV control. So we will see how that happens.
So I expected you to be really strong in this because when I saw the course,
it is quite a Matthias Kiburts course. I think allows you to get that really high speed. This is Gustafsson, the Swede, on his way to TV2 into 6th place there, 22 seconds down.
Backing out from the control again.
We also had Heikkilä into this point in 8th place. So still Kasper Fosse and Martin Rekborn to get to that point. This is Michels on his way into the finish, the Belgian. Will he be able to challenge this top 3? Top 3 at the moment. Krifta, Kiburts, Polsini. I think there's space in there here for the Belgian.
Not gonna be a threat for Krifta and Kiburts, but not far behind.
No, he will go here, I'm pretty sure, into 3rd place and knock Polsini off the top 3 spots. Michels into 3rd place. He is at the moment one better than his performance at the European Championships.
Yeah, and very soon we're gonna have Kasper Fosse to the 2nd TV control. He was 13 seconds behind at the first one in 10th position.
He is another pretty much sprint legend now as well. Another podium spot. Let's take a look and look at the blue route of Kasper Fosse because it's so
You can
close.
see twice different routes there between Kibbutz and Clift. Actually 3 times because they splitting up here again. Here we have Kasper Fosse on the way to control 16.
Yeah, let's get the time then here. And he goes into 3rd place, so just 1 second quicker than Mikkels.
Quicker between control TV1 and TV2, 3 seconds quicker compared to the Czech runner. This is Thomas Heikkilä on the way to the second to last control.
Yeah, the Finn lost time early on, has been fighting back after that.
Not too far behind. I mean, it's not going to be a threat for the leaders.
No, but he is a threat for the podium, I think, when you think of top 6 athletes. Just looks up here, reading his map quite a lot, taking a lot of these bends as well. And into the final few meters, as you can see there, he's going to be outside of the top 3, but should just sneak in ahead of Polsini. So Heikkilä, good in the end of the course, but losing too much time at the start for me. Thomas Heikkilä again, just looking at the screen there, you can see his eyes darting towards one side. It is 4th place at the moment for Thomas Heikkilä. 3 athletes still to come, Jonathan Gustafsson, Kasper Fosse and Martin Regborn. Here's the first of those. The silver medalist at the European Champs knockout, and actually someone who had a great result on a similar course like this, the one in Alton last year at the World Cup.
But he's too far behind, you can see it. It's only half a minute left. Usually takes half a minute from when they enter this finish area. So it's not going to be a threat for either Clift, Kibbutz or Michels.
Up the steps here, expect Jonathan Gustafsson to feature heavily in the knockout sprint. He is one of those athletes who seems to get that discipline right every single time. Less so in the individual sprints, and you can see already behind that time of Privda. Czech athletes in the leader's chair at the moment. And some ABBA in the arena to welcome the Sweden. On the last few meters, he will be outside of the top 6 here.
But you can hear they're not playing the winner takes it all for Gustafsson today. It's Mamma Mia.
So into 7th place then, 29 seconds down. 2 more athletes still to come.
It's Kasper Fosse, the next one to the finish.
And then Martin Regborn as well.
Actually, yeah, the last 2 runners out there. You can see that Kasper Fosse, he dropped behind. He was only 10 seconds behind at second TV control. Now it's definitely more. He's not going to be a threat for the top 3.
No, where did he lose that time? Was it the route choice to
the route
18?
choice to 18, where he went, he took the wrong passage under the railway.
Yeah, so losing that time on the route choice, the speed is good, but not enough here. So the medalist from the European Champs going to be outside the medals at this point.
And of course, also he is in the fight for the overall World Cup victory still. So we have to compare him to Martin Regborn and Max Peter Beimer.
Yeah,
and if you take that comparison, it still looks very, very good for Kasper Fosse.
Yeah, every place means more points here for Kasper Fosse. See, he is going to be outside the top 3, but he wants those World Cup points. It's super tight in the men's competition. Kasper Fosse, equal 5th then, equal 5th with Polsini. And the Norwegian, he was in contention for a fraction there in the middle of that course, but you have to get the route choices right, or enough of the route choices right, to still be in the mix.
And Martin Regborn has not been at the pre-boarding yet. Now he punched there. But he's not going to beat Kasper Fosse.
No, and he is so far behind. We can hand the win to Thomas Krivda of Czechia. Fantastic running for him. And with that and other great results, at the World Cup last year in Italy. That's such good feedback for next year's World Championships, which are going to be in Italy next summer. He's going to really take a boost into his winter with this victory today.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, Krivda, if he look back the last years, he has been there. He's been very good at the World Championships in Switzerland already. Then he was very good at the World Championships last year. Now also in sprint with good results. So definitely a name to have on the list for the World Championships. But let's take Martin Rekborn to the finish now.
Yeah, Rekborn on his way into the maze. Just looking left here, checking the routes through, and Rekborn, you can see already 20 seconds down, lost a lot of that time very early on in the course. The sprint world champion, the highest in the sprint world rankings, just coming into the finish here, looks left at the big screen, ending up in 12th there.
That was an expensive second there, because there were many runners on those 38 seconds behind, just a second in front of him.
And congratulating the winner, Thomas Krivda from Czechia. You could see he kind of had this steely determination in his face, and then he looks at maybe the position there and goes, oh, okay, maybe not. Not my day today. It's so hard to know, though.
You can really hear, Catherine, that you're working for the BBC, because we could hear what kind of word you were going to say.
Just trying to censor myself there, but he was, not happy with that one at all. And we hand the victory then to Thomas Krivda. These are the results. Krivda with the win, 13:32. But in his last individual race, what a story. Matthias Kibert's getting second place. It was nearly the win as well. Wouldn't that have been a fairy tale
ending? And I wonder if he's happy about the second place, or if he still is looking for those 4 seconds that would have given him this victory.
Of course he will. He's a pro. He knows. He absolutely. Do you remember he was sat on that leader's chair and he was absolutely looking at that? Let's have a quick look. I hope we go another page along, because the top 36 make it into the knockout. So Gustav Runefors, the last one to make it in by 1 second. So Henry McNulty, the first one to miss out. Alvaro Casado also there, was a finalist in the knockout as well. So all of these guys here not made it in to Sunday's knockout. Quite unusual that we have the qualification from the individual going towards the knockout, but that is the situation today when we have these 3 races in 3 days. There's not time to fit a qualification in there either. So we look down the results system as well, and quite a good mix of different nations in the top 10 as well.
A very good mix. And if we look at the top 3 here, we have them actually in the comparison. It's mostly Krivda that's, well, I don't know how many that would have expected that Kiburtz actually would take a top 3, but he's not a surprise up there. Krivda kind of is, because he's not been up there so many times, even though, of course, he has a medal from the World Championships. But you can see that the different route choices, they didn't make such a big difference here in the beginning. Actually, if we look back and see where runners lost time in the very beginning, it was on the route choice between 4 and 5, and then the second time where you could lose quite a lot of time. Here we have an interesting part where you have different routes between Kiburtz and Krivda for quite many controls in a row. It's also the section where Kiburtz got closer, you can see it here. But then none of them, actually, I think it would have been a bit quicker to take the other passage under the railway, but quite good. And let's hear from the winner, from Thomas Krivda.
Yeah, Thomas Krivda, congratulations to your win today. How was it going? Tell us about your race.
Yeah, I think the race overall went really well. I'm not aware of any mistakes. And yeah, as it was really fast course, I knew that this is going to be really decisive with small gaps in the finish. But yeah, I just can't believe what really happened, because I'm not aware of doing anything special in the previous weeks. I was just doing my normal training. I haven't been feeling any special, like any great compared to earlier in the season or previous seasons, and suddenly just winning World Cup final race here in Switzerland feels really incredible. Just amazing feeling.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sometimes you just need a good race. You don't need an extraordinary race to win. You just need one that brings everything together, and that's what Thomas Krivda did today.
Especially a very good start by Thomas Krivda. I mean, he was 10 seconds, or he was 5-6 seconds ahead early in the race already, and then he could maintain it for a long time. He lost a little bit in the very end, but that was a great start.
Are you surprised that the start was so decisive?
Yeah, I mean, I imagined that you could lose time if you take this wrong route to control 4, but I didn't think that between the top runners that there would be any gap bigger than 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah, because Krivda won so much time there, so many others lost all the time there as well.
I mean, Keyboards didn't execute control 4 to 5 perfectly. There he lost about 3 or 4 seconds by not going to the left. And I mean, in the end, that's actually what cost him the victory, maybe.
Yeah, it really did. So here are the top 3 guys ready for the flower ceremony today before we make the results official in a little bit. So another podium spot, another top 3 spot for Yannick Michels from Belgium, going one better than the European Championships. And that has put Michels into 5th in the World Cup standings. Still that knockout to come. Great race that suited him today. And in his final individual sprint of his career, what a send-off for Matthias Kibberts. He'll still have the sprint relay, he'll still have a knockout to go. But Kibberts, with a 2nd place there, we thought for so long he was going to win it as well.
Actually, we get the answer if he's disappointed or if he's happy. He seems to be very, very happy about this 2nd place, and he should be.
He really should be. Probably the amount of orienteering he's done before this race. Incredible stuff. But the first time at the top of the results then for Thomas Krivda of Czechia. This result puts him into 2nd place in the World Cup standings, just 6 points off the lead of Max Peter Bämer. He is in contention then to take home the big prize at the end of this World Cup. It is Thomas Krivda. And as you said it, Jonas, fantastic first section of the race. And of course that will ripple through, as you can see there, the whole Czech team, give them a boost on these final competitions of the orienteering World Cup season. There you have it, the top 3 athletes, Thomas Krivda, Matthias Kibberts and Yannick Michels. And there we go, flowers to his family, to the Kibberts fan club. Always turn out in force. You can spot them at any big race in their matching branded kits. I absolutely love it.
There's the wife as well.
Yeah, congratulations from Serena. And amazing work from a legend of our sport on his final goodbye. This is almost a last hurrah. It's a little kind of treat to say goodbye to all of the Swiss fans who have supported him.
Find the route, which I believe is a good one.
I mean, he's not retiring from orienteering, I don't think so. He's retiring from elite orienteering. He will definitely show up at races, even in the future.
I was already preparing the leg to number 5, and then I almost forgot to turn, but then I just managed in time, and then just trying to be smooth as possible.
I could hear about the struggles there when you read ahead, and you have to be very careful. We've been talking about this when we saw, was it Fabian Abersold that was overshooting?
It's a balance of being in the moment versus planning ahead and making sure you're not doing too much of one or the other. That is the key to getting some success around these races. So we're going to move on to the women's competition and focus on the fight for the World Cup there. On a very similar map then for these athletes. We'll switch our focus again It's a fairly chilly, overcast day today.
It's actually perfect weather for
It is pretty
orienteering.
good weather for orienteering.
I was a bit afraid that it's going to be raining and
Yeah,
that
me
would make it
too.
slippery and maybe a bit of an advantage for early starters or something, but it was very good so far.
Yeah, it's been fairly even, good conditions for doing the distances that we will see the women and the men competing over today. 3.6 kilometres for the women, and we can see a lot of them who've been spending the afternoon in quarantine. Natalia Gempel there just having a little drink. They put their phones away. They can't have any contact with the outside world. That's because they are not allowed to know what has been going on. A lot of people bring in card games, other sorts of games. We've got some crochet going on there. A lot of sleeping mats for them to really kind of chill out and try not to expend too much energy like Hannah Lumbo is doing.
Of course, those are not live pictures because you can see that there's still men in the quarantine as well. So it looks very much different at the moment compared to the pictures you can see here.
Some of the athletes kind of have different tactics. Some kind of want to really distract themselves from thinking about the race. Some people just want to keep themselves to themselves. Some people really like to kind of hype themselves up and get energized. So there's lots of clashing energies going on in the quarantine often. So 20 controls for the women's race. Again, that estimated winning time, 14 minutes. Very flat race, 20 meters of climb only in this competition. And like the men's course, it's going to be super, super fast. High speeds for these athletes. At the moment, our winning time 15 minutes and 11 seconds for Finland's Amy Nyman. So not quite as quick for the women at the moment, but I think when we get into those real contenders, we can expect there to have really bigger time differences in the women. Let's have a look at the course though, a little bit different to the men's.
Yeah, but the idea behind the course is very similar. Of course, they have to have different parts because the competition is overlapping, so they have different controls, even if the idea behind is very similar. Short controls, even shorter than in the men's here in the very beginning. Then this route choice between 3 and 4, where you actually, well, you don't win the race there, but you can lose time on this one. 4 5, just another route choice after this one. We've seen different options there, and then from 5 to it's also 8 here in the women's race. This is the TV control. We're gonna have running cams there, so you will be able to follow the runners in this section. Then this is actually the area where it's shorter. There's the shortcut compared to the men's race. 9, 10, you have different options there. You can go either to the left or to the right. Distance-wise, doesn't matter at all. Then there's 11, 12, transportation leg, and then this section here, we have seen that the leaders took different options here when we remember Krifta compared to kibbutz. Different options on all of the controls was this section where we had kibbutz getting closer and closer to Krifta. Again, TV control, then at control 15, the same one as in the men's race. 16 to 17, you can see it there. There are 2 different passages under the railway.
Yeah, these are different controls to what the men have. These at the end, 17, 18s, and then into the finish. Last bit very
Actually,
the same.
in the women's race, you really should go to the east out from the control to control 17. It's quite much shorter there. So this is the course, winning time, expected winning time around 14 minutes. You can tell you that the leaders at the moment, or the leader at the moment, is just about 15 minutes. So we're not really there yet. This is control 3 to 4. Well, similar to the men's race, it's not exactly the same control, but the idea behind is similar. And as we remember, you could lose quite a lot of time. I mean, a lot of time, then we're talking about maybe 10 seconds here. And of course, if you're 10 seconds behind at the first TV control, then you were on position, I don't know, 20 or 15, so it can make quite a difference. Well, the control 4 said it's not located at exactly the same place, so this is more similar here. The red option in the men's race was really bad. You lost time on this one. Here in the women's race, it's actually the shorter one. Doesn't mean that it's the quicker one. There you have to take steps, but yeah, it's a shorter one, so I don't think it will be as big time differences here as in the men's race. 4 and 5. Most of the runners were going here. This was the point where Kibbutz lost about 2, 3, or maybe even 4 seconds. So you have to be careful even on this one. The other option there, quite similar. So this is approximately 409 meters. You can see it here actually marked as 380. And if you go to the south, it's 403. Yeah, of course, it's a bit longer. So go to the north if you see it. The blue one, you will lose time in those. I mean, it's a bit shorter than the purple one, but you will lose time in the ups, like in the stairs there on the way. You have to take quite many turns on this, and I think it's not the fastest option.
So here is the start list then, as we focus on the later runners. Those with the highest sprint world ranking will start last. It means we see Simona Abersold starting last there. At the moment, Amy Neumann is our current leader at the finish. Who are our favourites then? Who should we look out for?
Well, I think we should start looking for favourites at around, well, one of the top 12, 15 here, 84, Alva Sunesson. Had a good European Championships, and of course the European champion Pia Youngvik, and then from there actually we have quite big names. Change here to the next one. Ida Agervik, Kristiansson, Cécile Gallandry had great championships as well, European champions. Victoria Hesta Björnstad, good form, good performances. Hanna Lundberg, but for me, I mean, if you're really talking about the favorite, well, it's Simona Abersold. If you would ask me, like, to give you my ranking, I would say Simona Abersold, then quite a big gap, and then many others.
She underperformed at the European Championships. She was 5th in that individual sprint. Kind of said her sprint technique was lacking. She didn't maybe see the route choices as well. What about in this course, though? Because this is a very different style course.
It's not the same kind of technique you need. We've seen it. It doesn't matter if you actually... Well, it doesn't matter too much if you choose a wrong route once. You don't lose a race doing that, especially a runner like Simona Abersold, who physically is so strong, maybe the strongest in the start list. So it's, I mean, it's not the kind of, then she wouldn't really need to miss many routes in a row in order to fall back that far, that I think that she would not be able, at least to be close to the victory.
And it's a lot about, you don't have to work hard to spot the routes here. You can see them very easily and be able to make that comparison very easily, as we see Vera Klemetinen leave 8th place in the European Champs for her.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about that in the men's race already. As a course plan, it's quite hard to make this routes where you have to leave control, like back out again, run S or even double S shapes, which makes it very hard to compare different routes. Or even if you remember back to the European Championship, sometimes you haven't had to look. If you start looking for a route, and you have to see if you even get to the control if you choose that one, or then like to see if the route works at all. Here it's more you see 2 or 3 very quickly, and you have to compare and then decide which of the 2 or 3 is like 2 or 3 seconds quicker than the other ones.
Jana Petrova then here on her way to the finish at the moment. And she's actually in contention at the moment for a new leading time. It could be very, very tight here for the Czech athletes. Petrova on her last few meters of the race. You can see TV1 5 seconds behind, TV2 just the 2 seconds behind, and it was very, very close at the pre-warning as well. It's all about whether you've got that high speed through the labyrinth and on the finish line as well. Here she comes then, the Czech athletes. Already one Czech victory today. Petrova will go into the leading time there, 4 seconds ahead of Amy Neumann. So our new leader at the moment is the Czech athlete, Jana Petrova. So we should look out for this runner here in green, Ines Berger from Switzerland. Watch out for her performances here because she's made a great start, the young Swiss runner.
She was in the lead at the first TV control, 5 seconds ahead of Eleonora Alinde. On the way.
And nearly going down again there, Berger. Different routes here to this control.
Now on the way to the TV control. I mean, you've seen that kind of sequence many times in the men's race. It's coming from to the top of the steps towards control 15.
I remember seeing some of her posts on social media, being quite disappointed with some of her performances earlier on this season, but this brings her, this is a really good run here, and this young athlete's got so much potential.
Yeah, she's a lot of potential. I mean, she has been, she has great results, maybe not that season as you mentioned it before, but the season before was very good. Young athlete, still collects a lot of experience. She was in I think she was doing military service, kind of a sports military, so she had this year maybe a bit more training than she had before earlier years. You have a lot of focus on just the sport when you do this kind of sports military, so it's a different situation. Sometimes it's not very easy to handle as well.
Yeah, sometimes that big increase in training
or
can
the payoff is coming a bit later than actually during the period when you're training.
Maiju Oksanen going around the buildings here. She's going to drop down the steps here and go underneath the road. This is Oksanen of Finland. You can see 20 seconds behind the leader at TV control number 2. And yeah, the Finns do have, after their home world championships, really are having quite a split in their squad at the moment between those more forest athletes and the sprint athletes. Although interesting to note, Venla Haju is actually here. She missed out the European Championships. Kind of, I think, just needed to have a bit of a mental break actually after the home world championships, where she had a lot of pressure on herself. But she is starting now. She's about the 6th to last starter. But Oksanen on her way into the finish now. Further back in the course, Sweden's Frida Wikström doing well, posting the 2nd fastest time at TV1. And Oksanen here lost a little bit of time from the pre-warning to the finish, into 16th place.
Yeah, we don't have the time right now here.
I'm looking on the GPS and the results a little bit. Had Vera Klemetinen at the first TV control into 8th position, 15 seconds behind. And as you mentioned before, the next very interesting runner is going to be Frida Wikström. Then at the 2nd TV control, it's going to last another 1.5 minutes maybe until she's going to be there. We are behind Ines Berger. Here she is, finally. This is Frida Wikström on the way to the 2nd TV control.
Yeah, she is moving quick. Here is Frida Wikström, and she's on her way to the 14th control. Will she catch this little passageway through by the trailer? She does indeed. Good routes here from Frida Wikström.
You can see that she was 2 seconds behind at the first TV control. But then we also know that Ines Berger dropped a little bit behind between the first and the 2nd TV control, or she didn't drop behind, but she lost a little bit of time.
So you can see there TV1, TV2 in the lead at those points. Will it be a new lead here at the finish for Ines Berger? She's only got a few more meters to go.
But it should be enough.
There's been lots of changes in order between the pre-warning and the finish here. Some athletes doing this really well, others really struggling. So I think it doesn't matter what you do on the pre-warning, there's been lots and lots of changes around in the order today, and the lead is not guaranteed here for Ines Berger. Round in this corner, she does indeed, and she's only got 10 seconds now to make it towards the line. Coming up towards the run-in here, it's going to be quite close, I think, to see whether she is going to take the new lead here or whether it will be maintained by Petrova. 2 seconds behind then for Ines Berger. Lost, I mean, she was 6 seconds ahead of Petrova at the pre-warning and then losing.
Here we have a replay from Frida Wikström, and you can see that she takes over the lead here by 5 seconds ahead of Berger. But then we know, as we just saw in the picture, that Berger lost time, kind of running out of fuel a little bit on the last controls. Here we have Ylvi Kastner compared to Ines Berger and Tilde Johansson. You can see that Tilde Johansson actually taking those steps. But you can see that you have to turn not only once but twice and climb up there.
And then you start to go all the way around this building, around to the east of the building there. I think, I mean, just looking at the distances now that they've got to go to the fifth control, knowing that Johansson is going to have to turn around at the fifth control, shows that northern route is faster. But Ylvi Kastner moving well, our leader at TV1. Here is Tilde Johansson. Then the Swede, who were just focusing on there, took the steps up. This is the fifth control. We get the time check at the 8th.
Yeah, but I think she's a little bit behind. Not going to be a threat for Kastner or Berger. See that time running out quite soon. She still has to go to drop down to control 7. I mean, it's not a bad start, but she's gonna be about 10-12 seconds behind, a bit more. Takes another 5 seconds from here.
So equal 6th, then equal with Petrova, who is our current leader at the finish. Here she is. Big smiles then from her. She clearly had such a great end of the course. And Frida Wikström here. Just get that comparison between her and Ines Berger, current second place at the finish. Here she is. Here's Frida Wikström.
It looks a bit quicker. Just physically here, you can see it there in the lower right corner as well. Development 8 seconds ahead at TV1, 12 seconds at TV2, and still 1 minute and 20 seconds to go to the finish.
Yeah, she backed out of control 18, going down the steps there now. Go back up the steps here and through the building.
Should be good enough, actually. Remember, from the second to last control, it takes about half a minute to the finish.
Yeah, and Frida Wikström over the last year or so has become a constant in the Swedish World Cup teams. Quite those world champs regulars. But she's looking ahead, looking left of her to see this labyrinth as well. There is second last control.
A new best time for Frida Wikström. Maybe the first one to go under 15 minutes. But then, I mean, there's still 1 minute.
Yeah, we have that expected winning time of 14 minutes. And will Simona Absold get close to that one? Frida Wikström is on her way into the finish there. Big smile on her face here as the ABBA Music blasts out through this arena. She's going to take the new leading time here, and Frida Wikström from Sweden into the lead. 14 seconds ahead of Petrova. Great job there for Frida Wikström, and again, a really good start. And just got time fast throughout all parts of the course here. Pulled up time on each control. And she will take the leader's chair.
This is Wilma van Krusenstjerna on the way to the first TV control, and well, she's not gonna be ahead of Kastner, but it's a solid start.
No, it is a pretty solid start there. She's got a clear idea of where she's going next. Good flow through here. There's the control, we can hear the beat.
Her best in a World Cup sprint or an international sprint is a 13th position. Should be possible for her to beat, actually.
But such is Ylvi Kastner's lead at this point that 8 seconds down puts you into third place.
And Ylvi Kastner actually should come... Oh, she's been at the second TV control, yeah. In 8th position, so drop behind there. Now 26 seconds behind.
Okay, Emma Biasmo here next to start. Another Swede on this start line. More of a sprint specialist as well. Emma Biasmo, and folding up what is quite a big map actually for a sprint race. Trying to take a little look at it there. Oh, that's interesting. She's chosen not to go down the steps, actually. She goes down the path there.
Okay.
Goes a lot further, but means she avoids the steps. So she's not going to... Yeah, look, she went the other way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But will she... Surely she'll lose time doing that.
Yeah, she will. Yeah, no, I mean, it's not a huge amount of time, but she will lose about 1 or 2, 3 to 4 seconds.
And 3 to 4 seconds in the men's race, difference between first and second, as we know. So we're live with Vera Klemetinen now, as we can follow her up the stairs.
To be fair, I think she wouldn't care too much if she would be second, just by 4 seconds, anyway.
That's true. But if you miss out on the knockout qualification by 4 seconds, you should care about every second in sprint orienteering.
Yeah, this is Vera Klemetinen. Chance to be, well, maybe within the top 6 with a good finish.
Yeah, we wait for her at the finish, pick her up on our drones that are flying overhead. She enters into the labyrinth. And the time ticks down there. Equal amounts of time kind of lost throughout those early stages. So Frida Wikström, our leader at the moment. And Klemetinen, who was 8th at the European Championships, will be in 7th at the moment, but will drop quite a lot compared to that performance in Belgium. Let's look at Ylvi Kastner then here. Oh, there we go. She just missed that turning in between the hedges to get to control number 10. She was our leader at the first TV control. She has dropped to 9th at TV2. We can pick her up here, and it's a small mistake like that, and that probably comes from not being in the moment. You're looking ahead, you're trying to make the next route choice. There was a bit of a route choice from 10 to 11. A bit of a left or right route choice, not too bad, but Ylvi Kastner started very, very strongly. Where will she end up? Will she be rewarded for that great first third of the course? She comes into the arena here. Looks good through this section as well. You can see her looking up to the exit of the labyrinth, looking left to the run-in as well. And will she be rewarded here with some good World Cup points, fighting hard for the line here. Vikasna from Austria. And she goes into 7th place, 31 seconds down. But you can see there what could have been collapsing it on the line there, because she was in the lead. In fact, she still is in the lead at TV control number 1. Let's have a look then at the routes now. Live with Vilma von Krusenfeiner in the green. Frida Wikström is our leader at the finish. But we'll pick up Vilma von Krusenfeiner on her way to TV2.
She's not so far off, actually.
So she was 1 second quicker than Frida Wikström at the TV1. On her way to TV2 here.
It's actually quite tight, I think. She's going to be behind Wikström. She's somewhere around Ines Berger.
Second
Good flow here as well. It's going to be interesting to follow her towards the finish. This is Laura Robertson.
Yep, absolutely. Laura Robertson in here, looking for a top 6 at the moment. The New Zealander. And she goes into equal 5th then. Laura Robertson, great performance there. 21 seconds behind the lead at the moment.
Just had Josephine Lind to the first TV control from Denmark. 10 seconds behind into 5th position. So she's only 1 second behind Frida Wikström. After 1.3 kilometer.
So getting the readout there for Laura. On the start line then, Maëlle Beauvais from France. She was 7th place at the European Championships.
It was quite far her best sprint result so far internationally.
Yeah, absolutely. So in some good form at the moment.
She kind of skipped the forest part of the season, focused a bit more on trail running then. And, well, it looks like she physically made a step towards the very best runners.
And a very measured start, lots of small steps. She's just wanting to be super, super careful on this first section, I think.
Here we have von Krusenstjerna compared to her teammate, Frida Wikström.
I think the gap, I think von Krusenstjerna's GPS is not very good. So I think the gap is actually closer than what it looks like. From memory, looking back at how it was at TV2, I think von Krusenstjerna is actually a little bit closer than that.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, she was 1 second ahead of Ines Berger, which looks quite similar, but you can see that it's parallel. Like, it's not the right place. You're actually gonna get a pre-warning at 18, then at least we get an indication about
what the gap is actually like. Here she comes then now on her way to the 18th control and to the finish as well. Here's the 18th. She's
and it
in
is still
seconds.
very close.
Yeah, absolutely. Only a few seconds in it, and now she actually takes the same route out here compared to Frida Wikström. Out to the road, we'll go underneath the roundabout as well. She's an athlete that, at least by the look of her social media, tends to be very hard on herself after some performances. So hopefully she will be satisfied with this one. She looks super fast.
I mean, it has been a good performance so far, and she still looks strong physically. So definitely a chance here to be close to Wikström. There's only, well, a few seconds at the pre-warning, so still possible. A small hesitation here just before she enters this finish area. then I think she takes another route here towards the second to last control compared to Wikström, which I think went to the left.
Yeah, I think they're fairly even there. You can see her checking her control descriptions as well at this point.
Takes about half a minute from here, so I think she's going to be somewhere between Wikström and Petrova.
She's got high speed, looking high tech, going around these corners here. Still got some good energy and some good pace at the end of this course. Lots of cheers for the Swede as she comes into the finish here. But yeah, she's not going to be as quick as her teammate. Will it be enough for second place at the moment? It will be, I think. She goes into second, just 3 seconds behind Frida Wikström.
And meanwhile, very interesting split at the second TV control from Josephine Lind. She was in fifth at the first TV control, 10 seconds behind. Now she is in second, only 2 seconds behind.
She does have top 10 results from knockout sprints at the World Cup before, but this she could be on for her best individual sprints. She was 21st in Belgium at the European Championships. Here she is. This was the replay, and having caught up an athlete as well, that's
Maria
always really
Gonzalez
good to know.
from Spain. As you can see that she's hesitating here. I mean, she's reading the map carefully, but at this point, she might have lost more seconds by hesitating than she would have lost if she would have gone the other way.
You can see how much the Spaniard was able to get away. That's like a good kind of visual comparison of what that hesitation and turn round is compared to a continuation and some good flow there as well.
This is Hanne Hilo on the way to the finish, fighting for a top 10 so far. She is in 12th position right now at the second TV control.
Yeah, she's actually going to be fighting with her teammate Vera Klemetterden for who can be the best Finn at the finish at the moment. A few more still to come though, including Inka Nurminen, bronze medalist at the European Champs, but Hanne Hilo on her way into the finish, just the last meters, no more navigation to go now. And a big shout across the finish, goes 9th, 29 seconds. That was a roar across the finish line from Hanne Hilo. Gave it everything there on the last stages. And we're moving in towards the last 20 runners now. As we start to get some drizzle in the arena. Very, very light rain, but could make some of the surfaces a little bit slipperier out here.
So here we have Anna Isabel Toledo as a new runner in this comparison, dropped a few steps behind already. Just that right now we had Maël Bouvir to the first TV control into 9th position, 16 seconds behind. And I think the next really interesting name then, Josephine Lind, on the way to the finish, just punched at control 18. Here we have Toledo in the picture.
Yeah, she's on her way to the 5th control. Can see already lost time compared to those leaders. Get a sense that she's really trying to prepare the next few controls, 6, 7, 8, really, really close together. And you're going to have to drop the running speed a bit in order to try and see those routes, get a good picture in your head of what to expect. It's all about anticipating your next steps.
I hope that we're going to switch towards Josephine Lind very soon, because I expect her to be quite close to the finish area. And it's going to be a tight one between her and Frida Wikström.
Yeah, the rain getting a little bit heavier here out on the course now. And Toledo dropping down some of the positions here as the seconds climb up. Again, super tight here in amongst the athletes at this first TV control. But Josephine Lind is in the arena now. She's rounding the last corner. Toledo there
Punching the
into 18th. Here she
last
comes
control
now.
right here.
Will she be able to take a lead? Will she
think
be able
so.
to take second here? It's not going to be enough for the lead. Where will she end up? The Dane crossing the line here. Equal second then. Equal second place between Wilma von Krusenferner and Josephine Lind.
That was a very good performance throughout the whole course, very consistent. She is still in fourth at the first pre-morning. She's then in fifth at the first TV control, and now she's in second at the finish. And at the start, we have the European champion. Maybe a bit surprising European champion, actually. Will be interesting. You mentioned that before, how many of the runners that performed very well, maybe even overperformed a little bit in Belgium, will have a good day today as well. It's a very different kind of sprint, so I think for Pia Young-Vik it's better with a very difficult and technical sprint. But
I would love to be proved wrong, though.
Yeah, exactly,
Actually, we would
she has
love to see her have that great success there.
And she has been in good shape, also in the forest at the World Championship, so she is on a good level. So it's going to be interesting to follow her, definitely.
Very, very interesting. Alva Sonesson here, actually live with her. You can see she's taken that different route choice from 4 to 5, and I think this is paying off for her.
Yeah, looks good for her. Just coming ahead of the others. But I mean, now we're talking about we start to talk about different kind of names.
Yeah, Alva Sonesson was 4th at the European Champs. Remember, she ran the great first leg for Sweden on the sprint relay, made some, I think, considerable progress in terms of the international results this year as well. And it's just about what she can do here to how she's going to perform on, again, a very different type of sprint.
And I mean, I usually mark the start list a bit with color, and it's actually with her name, the colorful part of the start list starts for me. So we start getting towards the favorites to actually be within the top 3 of today's race.
And we've seen the likes of Frida Wikström and Josephine Lind have really good overall performances, but the gap in the physicality, the speed between the women here is, there are bigger gaps than the men's race, and therefore when we see some of these runners like Alva Sonesson and onwards, we're going to expect to see some gaps.
She's behind Ylvi Kastner, she's behind Ines, well, maybe not behind Ines Berger.
Same time as Ines Berger, but we know Kastner made that mistake on the way to the 10th control, plummeted down the results list as a result. Here's Maëlle Beauvais back with her again on the way to the 2nd TV control. And will she be able to match that time of Frida Wikström?
I don't think so, but she's not too far away, actually. You can see at TV 1, she was 7 seconds behind. It will be somewhere around 10 seconds, maybe 12 seconds.
She's really reading ahead there. Yeah. You could tell, getting that map in 2 hands. Did she quite decide what she was going to do? Not fully committed, actually.
To turn back again.
Me too. It's just something about the way you're approaching that control. Here's Pia
Young-Vik.
And on her way to the first TV control. This is control number 6 coming up very soon. How will this start have compared to the likes of Berger, of Sonesson?
Very similar to Sonesson.
Jumping down those stairs. And if the men's race is anything to go by, actually performances at this early part quite decisive.
Might be between Kastner and Berger, actually.
I think so. So Pia Young-Vik does go into 2nd place. So 4 seconds behind the lead, but she is faster than our current leader at the finish. That is very interesting. Inka Nurminen then here, bronze medalist at the European Championships. And you can see there on the split times, bottom right-hand corner of your screen, was nearly 20 seconds behind at TV2. Turning around the corner here, looking for a top 10 still. All the way to the line. in what is now damp arena in Uster. Equal 7th and equal with New Zealand's Laura Robertson. 7th place at the moment for Nurminen from Finland.
The calendar just started, and next start will be Netherlands.
Let's go back to TV control number 1. This is Maija Sienoja, also from Finland, ran the last leg of the sprint relay. Nearly went very well for her, missed out the control in the end, but we can tell there she's got a high speed though. She wasn't in good form.
Not today.
No, not
she
today.
dropped behind quite a lot already in the beginning, as you can see. Somewhere close to half a minute.
Yeah, and half a minute down puts you 37th there. So close on this early section. It'll be hard for Maija Sienoja to fight back from that. So got the last 20 athletes coming towards the finish right now.
This is interesting. This is Alva Sunesson. And Sunesson was in 3rd position at the first TV control, now on the way to the 2nd TV control. Still quite, well, you can see it's about a minute to go.
She's lost a little bit of time. Oh, I don't know if we're able to tell anything from the route choices that she's made. They're just offering a few seconds difference. But still on her way to the 14th now around this corner. Starting to get a little bit wetter in the terrain. Oh, she nearly makes that mistake, but actually I think we saw Kibberts make the mistake there. You've got to go round the hedge. Sprint orienteering is kind of all about seeing that big picture, seeing the route choices, and then also being able to zoom in on this tiny little detail as well to see where exactly you can get through. Sometimes it's about spotting these tiny little shortcuts as well, as we see Alva Sunesson nearly at this 2nd TV point. But let's take Mel Bovir into the finish line. The French athlete working hard here. It's another good performance here. She's going to go and cross the line into equal 4th at the moment, 14 seconds down on the lead.
And you can see it was quite a consistent race, actually. Lost a few seconds from every TV control to the next one. This is Sunesson now, and
9th place for her.
18 seconds behind.
And a hesitation there as well, not quite as prepared or as confident in that route choice. But look here on the GPS tracking for Pia Youngvik, indeed looking for the Norwegian. And I think that, the GPS tracking just slightly off, so hard for us to make the comparison there, but we can pick her up on the picture here as she goes towards the TV control, and it's looking good.
Confident that this is going to be a new best time, actually. You can see that it was, she was 5 seconds ahead at the first TV control.
Oh, she's got to be prepared though here, and it's on her way to the second TV control again, just really planning her next route in. And she is in the lead now, Pia Youngvik, by 8 seconds, back up the stairs here.
Not 100% prepared when she was approaching control, was taking 1 or 2 steps into the wrong direction, then backed out again.
There just seems to be a little bit of a lack of confidence of some of these women coming through. They haven't committed to that route choice before they get to the control. There's Victoria Heistad Bjornstad from Norway.
Struggled a bit to get the map out from the start.
A great first leg from Victoria Heistad Bjornstad at the sprint relay in Belgium at those European Championships. Very good performances from her, and taking these stairs well.
Teresa Roturier to the first TV control, 14 seconds behind into 11th position. Also had Ida Gervik Christiansson there 13 seconds behind, in position 10 at the moment.
So Frida Wikström at the top of the results list at the moment for Sweden. Josephine Lind in second place. There she is. Just having a little debriefing section with Anna Isabel Toledo.
I missed this one.
Yeah, you saw that and I was doing this.
I did like
Yeah, but congrats.
It's just comparing the routes down from 3 to 4 there. Let's have a little look at the runners here, making that comparison. And Alva Sonnesson is the new athlete in the mix there.
Yeah, but very soon we are also going to have Pia Young-Vik here to control. Well, she has to go to control 17 first, but then so can tell you that Cécile Gallandry was at the first TV control 17 seconds behind into 14th position.
Yeah, she's going to struggle to catch that one up. Let's look at Alva Sonnesson on her way to the 19th control. She'll go underneath the roundabout here. Let's go down this spiral slope here. You can keep the speed fairly high, but we can see from the GPS tracking she was already behind. You can see 18 seconds behind then at TV control number 2 after the great start in the hospital area. Climbing up here, going through the building. She's got to be careful to get the gap. But as you can see, it's at least 30 seconds from this point into the finish. Will she go? She is pre-warned in the top 10, though. We also have pre-warning for Pia Young-Vik on her way very soon. We're still going to follow the Swede for the moment, though, to see whether she can get a top 10 here. Taking this labyrinth well. We've had falls on that corner previously. And Sonnesson punching the last control, picking up the speed again towards the finish line. A good start for her, but lost time in the middle section. She goes equal 7th, 18 seconds down.
And as you mentioned before, Pia Young-Vik very close to the finish now as well, just entering the finish area. And this is going to be a new best time now. She has 55 seconds to go from the last second to last control. We know it's about 30 seconds.
Yeah, this is very good for Pia Young-Vik, the European champion. A very different type of sprint race here compared to Belgium, but she is backing up that incredible performance.
And especially if you look at the result list so far with the splits, there's no one else being a threat for her at the moment.
No, this is a very good performance for Pia Young-Vik. Rounding the corner now. And where will this result end up for the European champion? Working hard now. She also looks towards the screen. She's got to keep that speed high on the last section. She's going to cross the line. It will be a big lead here. Big in this, by sprint standards. Crossing the line. We don't quite have the time yet.
Didn't stop in the graphics either.
But great result then here, and as you mentioned, very few others, the later starters, being able to match her high speed at that first part of the course.
Most interesting name out there at the moment is Ida Agervik Christiansen, punching to 10th position at the second TV control, 22 seconds behind. Right now we had Teresa Roturier at the second TV control as well, 30 seconds behind, so no threat for Pia Young-Vik.
But Frida Wikström vacates the leader's chair. She'll be replaced by Pia Young-Vik, who just kind of shrugs a little bit to the camera. Where will she end up as a result?
Man skulle jo selvfølgelig ha løpt her.
Men da, fordi du var litt bak, men etter det det jo veldig bra. Du har tatt nesten alle beste veivalg etter hvert.
Ok, bra. Hvordan var det for deg? Kødder du med meg? Dritbra!
So he said that she looks good. She took most of the good route choices. And, well, obviously, she did well on the course. And if you look at the start list, I mean, now we have Hanna Lundberg out there, we have Natalia Gempele out there.
But the big
And
threat will
the
come
big
from
threat
this
in the
woman,
picture here.
Simona Abersold, the home favourite here. She's only got a few seconds before her race starts. She's the silver medalist from the World Champions. She's a 2 times long distance world champion. And Simona Abersold, we know previously, physically, she has been one of the top runners, and we think her main rivals in terms of that raw speed are not here. When we think about Tove Alexanderson, she's actually been running in the World Trail, the mountain running championships today in the Pyrenees. She won that by half an hour, by the way. We know Andrea Benny Minson from Norway is not here. She's not very well. Sara Hagström still not racing sprint race after her huge injuries in the last couple of years, basically. So it's very interesting. Here's Hanna Lundberg, though.
Hanna Lundberg, and I think this is the first good time for a while now towards the first TV control.
Yeah, we'll get at the time
into
here.
Second position, only 2 seconds behind Ylvi Kastner, but ahead of Pia Youngvik, our current leader in the finish.
Yes, so Lundberg with a very good start. She was second at the European Championships behind the Norwegian. Here we mentioned Ida Agevik Christiansen, her sister Malin not competing at this competition, but she is a great athlete in her own right. She can see looking to try and pull it back up into a top 10 position. She's really reading this labyrinth very closely. It's not that complicated, but the Dane in towards the finish here. She performed so well in the test races for those European Championships, couldn't quite convert it on the big stage when it really mattered, but another consistent performance here from Ida Agevik Christiansen from Denmark.
And I think we're gonna switch back towards the first TV control, because very soon we're gonna see Natalia Gempele approaching it.
Yep, here she is on her way down to the 7th control. We get the punch at the next one, and the Swiss runner, former Russian, has made a really good start.
So I think actually we might see a new leader here. It's gonna be tight.
What will happen here, who will get the right time? You're right, equal lead then for Natalia Gempele and Ylvi Kastner, and crucially Gempele 4 seconds quicker than our current leader at the finish, Pia Youngvik. Gempele was 8th at the European Championships. She's the current world bronze medalist though, and a fantastic racer. Again, this type of course expect to suit the likes of her. Here's Venla Harju, and she's on her way to the 16th control. She did not compete at the European Championships after racing what was quite a mentally taxing home World Championships. But Harju here going to go into 6th place, so 16 seconds down on the current leader, Pia Youngvik. And she's actually caught up quite a lot of time.
Because she was in position 15 at the first TV control, 15 seconds behind. Now she's 16 seconds behind, so same speed in this middle part as Pia Youngvik. Of course, the first TV control, she was not compared to Pia Youngvik, but to Ylvi Kastner. This is Alexandra Hornik.
Yeah, just cutting through the hedge there. The Polish athlete was 4th at the World Championships. Sprint orienteering really is her strength, but you can see there that she's not managed to have that high speed on this first section of the course. She really hasn't, because the time already slower than the current joint leaders, Ylvi Kastner and Natalia Gempele. And dropping down lots of places here, lots of equal times, equal 23rd in the end for Hornik, although we've seen, you know, the likes of Venla Harju catch up quite a lot of places with a good middle section of the race as the course only gets damper. But here's the last starter, here's Simona Abersold. This is a pretty good start here.
This is a really good start, I can tell you.
She's just got that really high knee lift. You can just tell she's moving so quickly through the terrain here, making it look incredibly easy. as usual, and she's catching up. Alexandra Hornick then. This is a 6th control. We get the time check at the 8th control. Very smooth through that section too. She is the current leader in the World Cup standings. She's a world silver medalist and wants to do a lot better than what for her was a disappointing 5th place at the European Championships.
And this is clearly the clear new best time. And talking about new best times, it's going to be interesting to follow Hanna Lundberg. She should be very soon at the 2nd TV control. Here we have her in the picture.
Yeah, following her now, staying dry under the canopy. And we see Vic's time at this point, 10 minutes and 11 seconds. Hanna Lundberg will be quicker.
Yeah, there was some hesitation here as well, out of control by Pia Young-Vik. No hesitation at all for Hanna Lundberg.
None whatsoever, straight through that control. She's anticipated the route choices. She knows exactly what she is doing. Venhaju from Finland on her way to the finish now. This is the 18th control for the women. Still got to go under the roundabout. Reading these sections very carefully, where you have this level section. You don't want to take anything for granted. They will have looked at this on, street view. They'll have made their own maps with this section. It shouldn't be too much of a surprise. But let's go back to Gempela then, because she is on her way to TV2, and this is where the interesting battle is going to happen for the top 3 places, I think. We've got Lundberg and Vic in the top 2 at this point. Can Gempela challenge them? It looks really good.
It's very, very tight between Hanna Lundberg and Gempela. It was 2 seconds at the first TV control. It's still about the same, I would say. Here at the 2nd TV control, a few more seconds to go for Natalia Gempela.
Yeah, and is she prepared for this route choice as well? She absolutely is. Just reading her map quite a lot on the way out, but she committed to going the other way, and just 1 second in the lead at the moment. Super tight then here at the really kind of crunch stages of this women's race. Punching the control there, no problem. Venhaju into the finish. Is going to be looking for 5th place here. Crossing the line. It is 5th indeed. Very small run after the finish line.
Her best sprint results. That's quite a time ago. She has a bronze from the World Championships in Finland, 2013.
Here's Victoria Hesa-Bjornstad, who started 90 seconds after Venhaju.
You can see that at the 2nd TV control, she was 16 seconds behind. And actually, she was 22 seconds behind in our graphics, at least, or in the splits. But it's a comparison to the current leader, so 16 seconds behind Pia Young-Vik.
So Victoria Hesa-Bjornstad looking for a top 6 at the moment. But we know there's lots of runners moving quickly after her. We've got 4 runners who started after Victoria Hesa-Bjornstad. Many of those she's been competing against since she was a junior. Growing up through the sport together, and she does go into 5th place there, 21 seconds behind the current lead. But so still out there, Hanna Lundberg from Sweden, Natalia Gempela from Switzerland, Alexandra Hornick from Poland, and the home favourite Simona Abersold, who you can see here. And she's actually taken this Kibbutz route, I think, here on the way to the 15th control, where we get the time check.
Definitely going to the left there. Many of the others you have seen the same in the men's race. We're going to the right. The advantage again is that you don't have to drop down to the control, taking the steps. You can approach it from here. You can even continue climbing the steps. And it's a huge gap. Look at that, 22 seconds ahead.
Massive, massive time for a race like this, where it's been so close with some of these runners. Let's see if Hannah Lundberg can get in ahead of Pia Young-Vik and take the leader's chair for just a few minutes, I think. Hannah Lundberg on the line here. I don't think she's going to do it. She's going to be slower than Pia Young-Vik again after these European Championships as well. Into second place there, pushes Frida Wikström into third. And second place there, a wry smile. Pia Young-Vik has got the better of her just again. Yeah, exactly. They were 1 and 2 in the European Championships just a matter of weeks ago. And now on the finish line here, number 1 and number 2 in the end. But two very fast Swiss women on their way.
The chance that they will be first and second is quite small actually, because very soon we're going to have Natalia Gempele. She's already entering the finish area. And given the fact that we know that it's about half a minute from the second to last control to the finish, there's a very good chance for Natalia Gempele that she is going to take over the lead now.
Yeah, she should do. The Swiss athlete getting back onto some really good performances as well. Yeah, it is quite tight, and there's maybe some nervous moments here. Yeah, you can see that in Pia Young-Vik's face. Natalia Gempele has to get this labyrinth right. She looks to her left to see the run-in as well. I think it will be enough for a new leading position as she punches the last control. The Swiss athlete, will she get herself a medal here? She will if she crosses the line first. She almost falls over the line, throwing herself with that momentum forwards. And it is the lead for Natalia Gempele at the moment. Thumbs up, a good job for Pia Young-Vik as she vacates the leader's chair.
And now we're basically waiting for one runner out there. Of course, we have Alexandra Hornig as well, but it is between Natalia Gempele and Simona Aebersold, even though the advantage for Aebersold at the second TV control, as you mentioned before, was huge.
It was huge, and the race going to form so far with a big lead for Aebersold at the moment. Here she is then on her way to the 18th control.
More around 2 minutes to go, a bit less maybe. Two camera operators following her here.
I think they might tag team here. They do indeed. We switch from one to the other because we want to follow this incredible Swiss talent all the way through to the finish line.
I can tell you, the gap is still huge.
The gap is going to have grown again because, as you can see there, 6 seconds to 22 seconds. It's going to be even more than that by the time we get to the finish line, because Simona Aebersold is so fast. She's kind of put in that work. It's a course that really suits her, that can suit her kind of physicality. You can, you know, use a lot of time to compare those route choices. It doesn't rely on you spotting those route choices or not. She can really have a bit more time to analyse those, and it's on home soil as well. It's rounding off the World Cup.
I mean, the big question now is it going to be the 14 minutes or not?
Yeah, is it indeed? It's going to be close, actually. It's going to be very, very close to that 14-minute winning time as Alexandra Hornig, she finishes. But let's have all our focus on the last start of the home favourites. The runner who has been dominating in this race all the way through. She can already celebrate. Look at the gap that she has over the rest of the field, and sets up a great set of what she hopes will be a great set of results. She has time to jog into the finish line to celebrate with the fans, and she does take the win here by about 30 seconds. It is 30 seconds, 14:06. And what a win there for Simona Aebersold on a race that has been so close amongst so many other athletes. Just a few seconds between many of of them, lots of them sharing the same times. A jog across the line for our final starter for Simona Abbasol to take full points in the World Cup, maintain her lead in the World Cup standings, and set up what could be a golden World Cup final on home soil for her. So 1 and 2 for Switzerland, Simone Abbasol, Natalia Gempeler, the European champion, Pia Jong-Vik into 3rd place. And I think she really has backed up that European title. You can see there, Hanna Lundberg in 4th. This must be the best ever result for Frida Wikström in 3rd. It's certainly the best ever result for Josephine Lind from Denmark in 6th place. And then we get to Victoria Hese, Bjornstad, Venla Hayu, Alexandra Hornick, athletes we are used to seeing in this top 10. Great work as well for Mel Bovir into 11th place. Yana Petrova was one of our leaders for some time as well, into 11th too. Great to see Laura Robertson get in amongst the top 20. And we should look out for position number 36, because that is the cutoff. So Deborah Stadler and Annabelle Delaine, they both qualify into the knockout sprint on Sunday. Ilse Jumaka just misses out in 37th place. But this is how it was won then.
And actually you can see that Natalia Gempeler did that small extra loop there, the same as Emma Biesmu. Didn't cost her anything, so maybe it's a good choice to take. You can read a little bit ahead. They're different routes, Abbasol and Gempeler and the others. Put her ahead of the group at this point here. The gap was around 6 seconds between Abbasol and Gempeler. Different options here again. Didn't matter at all if you went to the left or to the right, distance-wise between 9 and 10. It looks still very similar here, but then here at this point the gap starts to grow. A better route to 14 by Abbasol. And I mean, from here it's very, very clear lead for the Swiss. She was never really in danger. And I think, I mean, I've been talking about this before. In the race where she doesn't do any mistakes, she's the big favorite because physically she's so strong. And let's hear from her now.
What does this win on home ground mean to you?
Thank you. It was a really tough race, so it was amazing to hear that I was going to take the lead when I ran into the arena, so I could just enjoy the last couple of meters. And when I saw the screen, I didn't have to push that much anymore, so it was really nice, amazing public, so cool to run here on home ground.
What are your feelings regarding the overall?
With my experiences from also World Champs last year, when I had a headache and felt really sick before the sprint relay, I knew that this was probably going to be a good day. So now I'm feeling a bit more relaxed for the knockout on Sunday.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, she has won the overall World Cup of 2025 because she's now got a margin of 103 points ahead of Natalia Gempeler. So there is no result that can knock Simona Abbasol off the top spot on Sunday's knockout. She is the overall World Cup champion. Natalia Gempeler currently in 2nd, but the 2nd, 3rd, that is not done and dusted by any means. But yeah, it's interesting to see that she had so many nerves for this race actually as well, and it takes an experienced runner to channel those nerves into adrenaline and into success.
But I think it's also important that you as an athlete have still the nerves. I mean, if you would just take it easily, there's always a risk that you kind of not focused enough, you're overshooting anything, it's not a good... Well, I mean, it has something to do with respect to the other athletes as well. So I think it's a very healthy kind of thing. So of course, if you get sick before, that's maybe a bit unnecessary in her position. But well, now she doesn't have to be nervous before the knockout sprint anyway, because as you said, she won the overall World Cup.
She has, absolutely, indeed, and. Yeah, you have to have some... I think if you have no nerves, then then something is a bit strange. But if you have nerves that completely take over, then, you know, that's not good at all. But she has that experience. She knows how to convert that excitement into great performances as well. So we can have the flower ceremony then for these top 3 athletes. So we award those flowers to the top 3, and firstly to the 3rd place athlete from today, Pia Young-Vik. The result puts her into 3rd in the overall World Cup standings, with a gold and a silver for the European Championships. Now a 3rd place here. What a breakthrough year for Pia Young-Vik, and so good to see her kind of back up that European Champs win with another great performance. It's not easy to do by any stretch of the imagination, and on a very different course too. She has proven it. So excited to see what she can do in the rest of her career. 2nd place goes to a very experienced athlete, Natalia Gempeler, improving on her performances in Switzerland after some disappointing results at the European Champs. But the winning margin of 30 seconds on a fast and not too technical sprint course like this just shows the class of Simona Aebersold. It's a shame no one could really push her and really mean that she had to sprint for the line. But it sets up a great weekend of racing. And she's already the World Cup winner of 2025. Switzerland, Simona Aebersold. Great performance again from her. And I wouldn't be surprised to see her on the top of another podium in this weekend. The DJ getting a lot of love at the arena. How was Simona Aebersold throwing? There we go. Someone's managed to find those.
Flowers.
Huh?
Was she the only one throwing them?
No, no, somebody else threw them as well.
Yeah, she still have it. Pia Young-Vik still has.
Yeah, I think
the
she's still got
flowers.
hers. So there we have it, the results from today's individual sprint. And it is a packed schedule for these athletes. It's also served, as I mentioned, for qualification for the knockout sprint. Before that, they have got the sprint relay as well. But these are the World Cup standings then. And as you can see, that gap, 430 points for Simona Aebersold, 327. That gap of 103 points means Simona Aebersold has already won this World Cup. Quite tight between 2nd and 3rd, and a bit more of a gap back to the rest. But with 100 points for a win, lots can change with good performances in the knockout sprint as well. I see Tove Alexanderson down there in 9th with 200 points, but that is because she is not doing this sprint season. And in the men's World Cup standings, look at that, so close, 9 points between the top 3. It is all to play for in the knockouts. Max Pretebema with his great Forest results still in the lead.
I mean, even Martin Drekman is not so far off, though he's a bit better in the individual sprint compared to the knockout sprint historically.
Yeah, absolutely, but that could still absolutely go anywhere. But it was a very, very fast and demanding, physically demanding course today. One where you could really plan ahead some routes, but you had to still keep map contact as well. And it proved for some tight competition, some thrilling races as well. Opportunity for some people to get some really good route choices together and pull up some places. Where we saw Krivda crowned the winner of the men's race. The women's race as well. Similarly high pace, and to try and keep on top of your orienteering, keep pacing exactly where you are when you're moving at such high speeds. Incredible stuff from the racers today. and Simona Abersold with the win. So we'll be back again for the sprint relay tomorrow. We'll see you then.
See you then.